Hello, everybody. Welcome to CCCcast after a bunch of months of us not uploading anything.
Yeah.
Um, so, a little update about the podcast. Um, we are basically just moving to a format of doing whatever we want, whatever we want, instead of trying to just strictly follow Autechre's stuff every week or so.
As you
Um,
can tell
yeah, as you
by
can tell by the video. Um, but So, yeah, uh, for those of
this will
you
give me a chance to be more like a normal music reviewer possibly and not like
maybe
opening the nerd abyss upon you.
maybe, um,
Maybe. Though
but
I
yeah, so to the Autechre fans, um, it's okay. We will probably end up doing Autechre albums in the future, but right now, um, this is what we're doing. And what we're doing is we are ranking, or I'm ranking all of the Black MIDI songs, from their 3 albums. And that's because Aradia here does not like ranking things. It's completely their choice. I didn't
yeah,
force
I
them to
I get
not.
indecisive with that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with ranking things. So, um, I've made a ranking. Aradia doesn't know it. Lillian
Oh
is
dear
recording
God.
it. She also doesn't know it. And it's Black MIDI, and
Lillian says I'm just here.
Black MIDI is a band where I think it's very difficult to not have a ranking that won't piss somebody off. Um, but I think my ranking, people are gonna have some problems with it. More than a normal ranking. I'm including Aradia.
Do do do
Um,
do do. Oh
and
my God.
part of this is probably going to be Aradia trying to get me to like specific songs more. Um, but it's mostly just gonna be I don't know. It's gonna be
Oh
good.
no.
This is gonna be good and fun.
Well,
And
we'll see. We'll see how our opinions end up aligning
I
ultimately.
I it's that's a complete toss up. I know that there's some songs that you have feelings about, and our friend, our mutual friend that also loves Black MIDI, who's probably listening to this at some point.
Oh
The
God.
whose songs that he loves that are not that high. But I also want to
Oh
clarify
no.
that I straight up love every single Black MIDI song, I think, even if I have mixed feelings in that love with some of them towards the bottom, I think that they're all wonderful. Um, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know who Black MIDI are. I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty of that.
Yep.
Hellfire just came out, like, 5 days ago, and it might seem like a short period of time, but I tend to make up my mind about things pretty quickly, and I think that it's yeah. We'll get into it. We'll talk about once each album is like quote eliminated from the ranking. I want to talk a little bit about the album as a whole and how I think it works and how great it is. This is really just an excuse for us to talk about all the Black MIDI stuff all at once.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
framing it as a ranking, because I love rankings and it's an extra layer of mystery and fun, and excitement. So I'm basically ready to get into it. The 26 songs, I'm not ranking the non-album singles. And I'm also not including halftime because it's a fucking interlude.
But
So
it's a cool interlude though.
it, it, it
I
would
like
be
it.
it would be at the bottom. And no Dead Sheeran. Dead Sheeran is a single. So yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
I haven't heard that, but you told me some interesting things about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um so I'm ready to get into it if you are, Aradia.
oh God. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Number 26. Um
Oh, I just want to point out that this is one fewer than the number of questions.
That's true. Technically, there are 27 songs from their studio albums then, if you include Halftime, which I didn't
That
realize. That's actually, a
ooh,
good note given, the 953 thing in Ascending Forth, which we'll get to.
that's
Um,
pretty interesting.
and it's probably intentional, I'd say. But
I like halftime, by the way. It's a neat little hauntological gateway
oh
thing
my gosh,
into an
yes.
alternate
All right,
dimension.
yes, sure. Let's number 27 is halftime. It's a cool hauntological gateway. Number 26, I don't think these two songs are gonna make too many people upset. I mean, I know that these songs have stands, but number 26 is Years Ago from Schlagenheim.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This song has grown on me a lot. Just like basically everything Black Midi does. Um, Lillian says this already sucks. Um, but
Oh,
you know,
no.
I think if the song, I really like the mellow kind of dark mellow part in the middle of the song. Um, but the rest of the song, it's cool, it's wacko, and it's great. But it's missing
Yeah.
something for me. Its short length ends up making it feel more like a sort of segue interlude track into the final track on the album, which I think
Yeah,
was a good decision, but ultimately makes for one of their less compelling songs.
no, I mean, I I I get that it's short and, like, it could have been a little bit more fleshed out, I guess, but, like, "Oh, this is my baby, you're trampling on my baby already," and
I'm not
nobody really.
trampling on anything. It's still like an 8 out of 10.
Okay,
I'm
but
just gonna
yeah,
triple on everybody's babies, I guess. That's just what I'm gonna do today.
yeah, yeah, but no, with it this song is, like, the one that everyone has an issue with on Schlagenheim, which is, the we'll get into full album feelings later, but, like, I don't know, I just always felt like it felt like it feels like it stands on its own as a full song to me despite being short, and I just really like the unhinged feeling it has, like, just I don't know how to fucking say it
Okay.
without sounding dumb, but yeah, it's just like unhinged and it's just
I get
like
what you're saying.
doesn't care about seeming sane anymore and just going for it. And I really like that feeling, and
Yeah, and
it's
it
just
does,
really cool.
in my opinion, it does work well after Boom Boom Boom, which we'll get into, which has that big explosion at the end of the song, and then it kind of goes into this, which is its own, like it continues that energy. In the
Yeah,
context of the album, I think it works really well. I wish that the middle part where it gets all lush and atmospheric and like with that the reverb or whatever, and Morgan's
yeah.
drumming on this song is also fucking insane. Because I
Morgan's
mean,
drumming is gonna be
every
consistently
every
insane
song, but
always.
the this song, it works really, really well. Um, and I think this is the only song that Matt sings on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Before he
I'm
left?
pretty sure
Yeah.
it is actually. Yeah,
Shout out, Matt. We hope you're doing well. I'm sorry that
yeah.
your one song is last. I promise it's nothing against you.
No. Um, I don't know. I might just have like more of a short song tolerance,
That's
possibly,
fair. That's
because
that's true. We you will learn soon.
I mean I know it is short. It is like what is it like just over
Two and
2
a
minutes?
half,
I don't even know.
two and
Yeah,
a
two
half.
and a half minutes. But I don't know. It feels fleshed out to me. It feels like a full statement by the time it's ended to me, and it feels like it has a unique place on the album.
Yeah, that's fair. It is also
Yeah,
the lowest track, Black MIDI track, on Rate Your Music, if that means anything. I was going to go through all the
yeah,
tracks and compare Rate Your Music's ranking, but I forgot.
yeah. There are like no years ago fans out there.
Yeah, that's why it's at a 3.8, which is a pretty good rating. And
No,
like like the fact that their lowest song is a 3.8 is pretty like good,
yeah,
all things considered.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. It's just like the this is like the punching bag of Schlagenheim. Like whenever someone has an issue with the song, it's like 75% chance it's gonna be this one.
That's fair.
Yeah, but
Um, yeah,
yeah, I get it. But it's my baby. I like it. I like how it feels. I like the vibe.
yeah. All right. Moving into 25, we have the sister song to this one, which shouldn't come as a big surprise. I think Hogwash and Balderdash from Cavalcade, both penultimate tracks that are like 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, that are supposed to be wacko, like just 2.5 minutes of wacko energy.
Yeah,
Um, and I think they both work well. I just think that this one works a little bit better. I think the
it's
noisy
because they're
bits,
chickens.
that's yes, that's exactly why. It's because it mentions chickens. You figured it out. I think the more mellow, lusher part in this track works better. I think it pulls off the wacko feelings better than years ago. But I'm
Mm,
still not in complete and utter love with this song comparatively to their other stuff. Um,
uh-huh.
but it's, I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. Okay, it's probably
Yeah,
not fantastic, but it's great.
yeah, it is a cool song. I think I like that it's very like timbrally adventurous and it has all of these different sound textures and instruments going through it. I think that's cool. I think the imagery and the lyrics is pretty strong. But honestly, I actually have kind of an opposite take in regard to this versus years ago because they are like very similar tracks that occupy like the exact same place on the respective album.
Yeah.
But honestly, I actually think for me, years ago works better in pulling off that vibe. Well, they have like two different kind of versions of
Yeah.
that
Yep.
wacko vibe.
Yeah.
um, I think years ago works better for me because it has like more of a darker spin on it, and it's kind of more like there's like some. It's more like threatening and baffling
Yeah.
than this, which is more like kind of silly and a little bit. Well, no, it's not silly in a bad way, but it's just like it's a wacky kind of wacko thing that has a
The
little bit of humor to it.
the wacko song is wacky. Yeah, yeah. Hogwash feels more humorous than years
Yeah,
ago,
that's what I
which
mean.
feels like more explicitly darker. And
Yeah,
honestly, I probably could go either way on either track, depending on my mood. They kind of occupy their own tier on this list. So,
yeah, that's fair. I can understand why they do.
okay.
Um,
Um, is there anything else you wanted to say about that track?
um, I don't. It mentions chickens.
Okay,
Um,
we already talked about that. Moving on. Unless you actually had something to say.
I don't know. The story is cool. It has like some cool dynamics between the characters that it explores, but it's not like yeah, it's mostly just supposed to be like a fun, wacky song with a lot of energy to it.
Yeah. Um, all right, and now it begins. Now it's time to make everybody in the world angry.
Oh
Um,
God.
all three of these, I mean, okay, actually, all of these next tracks are going to make people pissed off. Number 24 is Ascending Forth.
Ooh,
And
ooh.
I've gone back and forth about this song so many times that I can't even count the ways of times that I've gone back and forth on this song, and I have so many
I've watched
mixed
you struggle with this one
feelings
quite a
about the yeah,
bit.
you've watched me struggle with this one because I've talked to you about it, and I I don't know what it is. I've come to the conclusion that I don't have, like, a good reason. I can't pin down what it is. Besides, I think the main melody of the song works really well, but then, it also goes into these weird melodies that are trying to kinda be, like, jazzy or, like, proggy, and it doesn't work as well, in my opinion. Um
Yeah.
So it's this, like, constant clash of melodies and ideas that I really like, and melodies and ideas that I don't like that much. And I think that I really like how lush the song becomes at points. I think I like when Black Midi go lush mode, as you will learn to see. Um, but
Oh
I
god.
yeah, all the banger tracks are all low. I'm sorry, Aradia.
No,
Um,
fuck.
I think that I don't know. I will say that the last 2 minutes of this song are one of the best moments of Black Midi discography, which makes it even more difficult for me and hurts me to put it this low because it's like the song is so close in my mind to being just a fantastic, like, one of their best songs, but there's so many moments that hold it back from being what I think it could be. Um, that being said, I think at the end of the day, I do love it, and it's not like the melodies are like absolutely terrible and the ideas are absolutely terrible. I just don't I don't gel with them as much as other ones, as much as other songs on the album. Um, and it's a bit disappointing because it is the longest Black Midi song to date.
Yeah.
Um,
You love your long
and I
songs
love my
usually.
long songs, and I hope this is not anything to say that Black Midi should not do long songs, because I long songs are based. Um, but I don't know. I think it doesn't work as well as I wish it did. Um, but those last 2 fucking minutes are just absolutely incredible, and arguably
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best moment on the album. I just want to accentuate that despite my feelings that that ending is that post-rock build, that melody, the way that the Greep goes fucking crazy and just sings "Everybody Loves Ascending Force" over and over again, and with the
yes,
horns and all the lush instrumentational building up into this beautiful, just a stunning climax. Um,
yes, it
which
is
is
gorgeous, I agree.
which I think, points to Black Midi being such a fantastic band that even like their worst like actual song is still has one of my favorite moments by the band. And I think lots of these songs have moments that I think are stunning. It's just whether or not the whole thing is stunning or just parts of it. And that's going to be a trend that we're going to start to see, I
Uh-oh,
think, in my list.
uh-oh.
But I also I appreciate what the group is going for lyrically on this song, and I as an artist I get it and I
Yeah,
empathize with it, but I don't know, I wish that it was told differently. I guess, is my thoughts on it. But yeah,
interesting.
that's my opinion on Ascending Forth.
Oh, no, okay, yeah, I I have also had complicated feelings about this one. Um, the this is a pretty uh, interesting and strange song we have here. Yeah, like I don't know. It like you said, for a long time I had issues with like the way that it would like set up these it would set up melodic structures that were like really beautiful and pleasing and then going off into like some weird proggy thing that I wasn't really sure worked or like I wasn't really sure what it was trying to express
Mhm,
in the context. And like it's a really weird song. It's almost like a weird satirical Stairway to Heaven send up
That's a
type thing
good
almost.
that's a good way to put it, actually. I never thought about
Yeah.
that, but that's a good comparison.
Yeah, I thought of this on my most recent list, and it really stuck out to me that it was like that.
And it's totally
But
a Black MIDI thing to do.
yeah, that's
Uh,
absolutely a huge Black MIDI move. Um, but it's always going through like all these weird shifting motifs, and like obviously there are things that are repeated, but it's always just constantly going from one thing to another and circling different things out with each other and going off into like moments that can seem kind of unnecessarily proggy
mhm,
and you're leave you not quite sure if they're expressing what they should express fully enough. But I do have to admit that on my latest listen, I did kind of feel like they were at least supporting the narrative of the lyrics in a way.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair, and I do see that, but it's a case of, like, oh, it's like, we made a concept album, the concept is that it's bad.
oh,
But I guess that just makes
I,
me a pleb that doesn't like music or whatever. Um, the
Lillian.
concept is that it's prog. Um, and I think that's true. I do think that this is their most straightforwardly progressive rock song, which I think also contributes to my feelings because I'm not a big fan of straightforward prog. Um, uh, Black MIDI are very much an exception in the rule of prog in general. Super
This is
picky
where
with it.
they're like more channeling the energy of like the old school traditional stuff or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I think it did kind of grow on me with this last listen. I like so some of the proggier things I can kind of see how they work at supporting the lyrical narrative better. I'm still not 100% sold on it either, like you are.
interesting.
Um,
Okay.
but I do appreciate it more, and like you said, that ending is just like absolutely glorious.
Yeah,
Like you cannot fuck with that. You cannot
yeah.
fuck with that.
I'm not gonna diss the ending. Yeah,
Yeah. um, yeah, and I don't really blame you for feeling like the story and the lyrics is told a little bit strangely because it is. Um, the it's a little bit odd. I'm not one. I'm also not really 100% sure that it works for me totally, but I don't know. Again, I like it. I think it's a good meditation on like artistic expectations and trying to live up to the greats and
yeah,
I don't know, just like going with the natural spirit of creation and what feels and sounds good versus what's culturally deemed to be good within the scene or whatever. And
right. Yeah,
I think that plays off the way it's kind of like a their way to heaven end up in an interesting way.
yeah,
Um, I think that's pretty thematically fitting. It's an interesting song. I don't know. I like it a lot. I It's weird, and I do get why you have mixed feelings on it though, and I kind of do still feel the same way, even if it did grow on me during the mm, excuse me, during the last listen of Cavalcade that I had just before the podcast. I struggled with it for a while too, to be fair. Um,
yeah, yeah. It's good to know that I'm not the only one.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can go on to the next song, which speaking of long Black MIDI songs, number 23 is
Uh-oh.
Western.
Oh, oh
I'm
no.
sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
It, my
Lillian is
magic
upset and
number.
sad. Um, listen,
Oh
listen.
no.
Here's okay. This is all you need to know. All right. If you remove the cowpunk, whatever fucking cowboy shit from the start and the finish, um, it becomes one of their best songs. So that's just my feelings on it. No, it does not make it cool. Lillian, stop saying things. um, she's saying that
That
that's what makes
that
it cool.
that was
Um,
also your initial opinion on Hellfire. Remove the cowboy shit and it becomes
yeah,
cool.
yeah, but we'll get into that. Remove the cowboy shit. No, but I feel it on this track. It's not bad. It's not like it's good, it's great, even maybe on a day. But here's the thing: when you have an album with just the first four tracks have been putting out consistent straight energy and fire, and then you slow it down for a minute and a half to do some cowboy hee-haw shit. Um, it's like, you know, whatever. And it doesn't for me, it doesn't fit into the song as well as I thought it could. And I've always felt this
Oh,
way. I have always, even back in 2019, I've always felt this way. Um, and the outro is even worse because if it were just the intro, I'd be like, okay, Near Detroit, Michigan was before this song. That song is just fucking explosive. Having a little bit of cooldown moment is excusable, but then the song goes crazy mode. This song is just fucking fire, and then it goes into the cowboy mode again, and that's like, okay, bro, whatever. Um, so if you cut off the cowboy, it's fantastic. But besides the cowboy, which is why it's so low. I just want to make it clear. Cowboy is why it's so low. Because the rest of the song is badass. The rest of the song is fucking
my
insane.
fucking
Um,
god.
I, as a bass player, as who has chosen bass as their main instrument, I'm always loving Cameron's stuff on everything that he does. Um, and we'll get into to Cameron's songs later. Um, but the fucking bass on this track, the one bass line, in that one bit, is just so fucking
Yes.
juicy and so wonderful and energetic. Um, and the way the song builds with the fucking with Greep spamming about how this person's on stage and the song just gets more and more intense and that one guitar or whatever the fuck just cuts through the mix and just grows louder and louder and it ends up cutting out at the end is just such a fantastic, just brilliant. And like I love Black Midi so much. Look, see,
I
we're
agree.
at we're at the fourth worst song, and I'm already gushing about them. So so yeah, um, I it's not alt country. It's cowpunk. I said cowpunk or cowboy because I don't know any cowpunk. I don't listen to that stuff. Lillian, our assistant. No, a wonderful editor who can do terrible things. But yeah, this song fucking rips. The Anteater Town shit. Um, wait, is this the song? Is this the Anteater Town lyric, or is that
Yes, it
the other one?
is.
Okay,
It is.
I just wanted to make sure.
It's
Yeah,
the
and it
caterpillar
also
one too.
because it's the song that drops the Schlagenheim title, even though it's not the title track of the album, because Black Midi are fucking wackos. I say that in an endearing and loving way. Um, I like how this kind of foreshadows the sort of theatrical elements of Cavalcade and Hellfire, for me at least. Of course, part of that is because he's spamming, screaming about being on stage a bunch of times. But I think the way that the song is kind of set up in that middle part, I don't know, it just gives me the that sort of theatrical vibe um, that carries into
Yeah.
the next two albums.
Yeah, I yeah, it okay. there's a lot to get into here. Are you about done?
I've said everything that I want to say, I think.
Okay. Oh God, this is another big one that has a lot of different aspects to talk about. Um, okay, so the like I if you're gonna pick any part of the song to take issue with, then like yeah, the cowboy parts at the beginning and end, or the cowpunk parts, or whatever the correct term for it is. I don't know, but
The
if
yeehaw,
you're gonna God,
the
no,
western part of the
the
song.
western part, the western part of western. Uh, no, if you're gonna take an issue with any part of the song, then that's an understandable part to take issue with. Like, it turns the energy way down and it does a sound that doesn't hit everyone right. And I can understand it, but I don't know. Uh, okay, so this is going to be a thing that we are going to maybe fight about a little bit later with some other stuff. We'll get into that.
Oh God.
But I think in this particular case, I think the way that the way that these sections offer like a little reprieve and like a section of lowered energy is good for the flow of the album in this case. And it's kind of difficult to articulate exactly why um I don't know, it feels like with the rest of the context we've had, it naturally leads to this kind of section being needed, I guess.
That's fair. And I do agree that it works better in context of the album, but having to take the songs as individual songs by themselves, it changes my opinion on them, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I'm not really sure how much I can separate out my opinion um that well, but
Well, that's why you're not doing rankings.
yeah, that's why I'm not doing rankings exactly. Yeah, this is exactly why. But I don't know. I think within the ebb and flow of the album, these calm sections are correctly placed to my ear, and I think I don't know. I don't hate them. I kind of I have a sort of certain fondness for the sound in certain contexts. You know, I live in a state that has some kind of plainsy vibes, and it kind of makes me feel like that a
That's
little bit,
true.
and it's kind of
That's true.
pleasing.
You live in the West,
I
so
do live in the
there's
West.
that difference between us. Another thing that I wanna mention is how much Black Midi apes shit from America. Like, for a
Yeah.
British band, they do a lot of aping of shit from America, from the
Oh
US,
my
and
God.
it's funny, I love it, it's wonderful. I think it's hilarious because it's usually taking the piss, in a
It's
good way.
funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah.
They love doing the country shit. But not only the country shit, there's other stuff that I think that has a very kind of American US quality to it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's and it's like kind of antiquated in a good way too. That's like Black Midi has like a whole time warp thing going on. That will
thing.
become apparent.
They're all secretly just time travelers, and they're showing us the music of the future combined with the music of the past.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. Oh my God. Oh, where were we even going? Oh no. I also like the outro Western sounding bit for the. I don't know. I like the combination of the of that guitar texture with the sharp, plucky banjo and like that little twinkly instrument, whatever it is. It's gorgeous. I like all the way that all those different textures intermingle with each other in the outro section. It's just pleasing to me. Um,
That's fair. I'm not gonna deduct points from you for that. I just
yeah,
disagree.
that's also fair. Like I said, but the middle part of the song, holy shit, it fucking goes. Yeah, like it has a kind of similar theatrical vibe, which goes with the lyrical themes that have to do with like music industry shit and performance and like I, authorship and rights and music industry shit, whatever. Um, it, maybe there's like some other themes going through it, but that's mostly what I see. But I don't know. It's a different kind of theatrical feel that that is like unique to this song, but also kind of predicts what they would go on to do in a way. Um, I don't know. There's something
It kind of
I don't know
predicts
how to
the next two
describe it.
albums.
Yeah, it's different in a way though, in a good way, and it feels like a big adventure as you go through all these different sections. It's like a big adventurous journey. Um, and it's really lush. It's probably like one of the lushest songs, at least in that middle section on Schlagenheim. That's not just like being fucking noisy and abrasive, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, like the guitar lines that set up the atmosphere, and especially like the drum and bass grooves that the song gets into. Oh my god. Like some of the things that happen in this are just so good and so tasty, and they have so much energy to them. Uh, it just goes, and it's also like really fluid and organically structured, where one thing just kind of leads into the next, and it's not like kind of blocked off into chunky sections like some of their songs are. Um, yeah, and it's just like a big journey that with I don't know. I just like it, and I think the whole thing flows really well. I mean, in the context of the album, which that we're not talking about the whole album yet, but like I don't know, the whole package just really comes together really well for me,
that's fair.
and yeah,
It's cool.
it's cool. Yeah, it's a good song.
Okay, number 22, Aradia. I
Oh
love
no,
you. I'm sorry
Mm,
for this. I'm
oh
sorry,
no,
the entire Black MIDI fandom. I'm
oh
killing a
no,
darling today. Number 22 is
uh-oh,
Boom Boom Boom.
oh no, oh
All right,
no.
now listen to me.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay. What's
So
wrong with you?
angry. What's wrong with you? She says. Okay, I
Oh
love
no.
this song. Okay, I love this song. Um, the bass line is sick. I don't actually think it's a bass. I think it's a guitar because I watched the performance. I think Cameron just sits off to the side for the whole song, which might be why I think
No,
I
I
have my
figured
feelings
it
about the
out.
song.
That's why you ranked it low. I figured it out.
No, I just think that the main attraction of the song is the outro, which is just fucking unbelievable, like this massive explosion of sound and of just chaos and insanity, and with Greep the Greep blowing out the microphone with his vocals and screaming, "She moves with a purpose." Um, but I think
It is
before that,
pretty nuts.
most of the song, it's obviously very repetitive. I don't think Aradia
Oh,
will disagree with me on that. I
no.
could be wrong, and I think that there's some subtle changes that happen, but I think it's not enough to the point where I am super engrossed by most of it. Um, so that's why it's so low
Oh,
here. Um, the ending of the song rips ass. It just completely slays. It destroys. I also really like the intro, where it's kind of the build up from that little drone bit. I think the groove is really tight
yeah.
and it's really great. I do want to emphasize that I think the whole song is really great. Um, I just think comparatively to Black Midia's other stuff, that uh the outro is kind of like the Black MIDI that I know and love and like revel in, like with their best shit. And the rest is kind of just like, this is really great, but it could be better, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just get along more with the subtle progression of it. Although I will say it's really one of Black Midi's most minimalistic songs, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is repetitive and it just done, done, done,
And
done,
it
done,
is a really
done.
cool bass line. Like it's basic as fuck, or guitar line or whatever the fuck it is. Like it's super basic and minimalistic, but it works so well. Um, and it is super cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the subtle progression that it has, like with with like different levels of guitar stuff coming in and out, and like these little subtle electronic effects that come in. And of course, like Morgan fucking slaying it with these
Yeah.
weird, super precise,
Wonderful fills. The fills are
tech,
insane.
yeah, with super surgical precision, off kilter, off time, amazing shit. For me, it successfully introduces enough new variation in what's happening to keep me hooked pretty well, even before shit gets real. Um, you know, but one thing I would like to point out about it that I think is really cool, and it's like a little neat artistic contradiction kind of thing. The thing is just like really brutal and heavy and feral, and it has like it's like just bashing primally at your skull,
Yeah.
um and it has these very noisy moments too, um and you would expect like to have like a Swan's Filth type production for this kind of no wavy shit, and you would expect it
Yeah.
to be all filthy and dirty and grimy, but instead everything here is like pristine and shiny and cleaned and polished to maximum precision.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's like it's like that future episode of SpongeBob where everything has turned into chrome.
Everything's chrome.
Yes,
That's boom 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 right there. Everything's chrome.
yes. It, it's Swan's built from the future. That's what this fucking song is. It is madness. and then you then it really starts to, well, there are like some little small moments where the dam just breaks really quick and you just get a little small burst of what's really waiting for you, and like a little blast of laser noise to your skull.
Yeah.
And then it it just goes off and you're just being attacked by giant bass slamming into your face and feedback squealing and laser gun sounds going pew 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 pew, and just like the grape screaming his head off into the microphone clipping, and it goes really hard. It goes really hard. I really love it. It's minimal. I can see, I can see your criticism, but I it just keeps me locked in and keeps me consistently thinking, wow, this goes hard as fuck. Wow, I am losing my fucking mind to this. Um and yeah, that's basically the song. She moves with a purpose.
Here's the purpose.
What a
Okay.
magnificent purpose.
Okay. Uh, I'm just gonna keep on making people angry at this point. Um, because
Y-
number one, I know this song is beloved, and I have a reasoning.
Oh no.
Um, near Detroit, Michigan, the weakest Cameron song.
Oh,
Actually, technically, apparently, um, which yeah,
wow,
is
I think
fair.
that's true.
Um,
Oh,
which
I'm
suffers
actually not sure I disagree with that even really.
it suffers from shortness syndrome in a way where I think the song you can make an argument that the song does that needs to be short, but I think the song would be better if there were more to it, I guess. It is just kind of this one build, and that one build is immaculate. That one build, do not get me wrong. That one build is the shit. Um,
Yeah.
but it is ultimately one build, and then it just kind of ends, and it's like, okay, that was a song, and it's like, well, I wanted a bit more from it, you know. Um, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think the guitar tone is fantastic. I think the bass line is really great.
like
There's
during the atmospheric bit.
yeah, during the atmospheric bit. I
Yeah.
like how Cameron kind of takes a break from the Greep singing about just like whatever wacko cryptic shit he wants to sing about. And sings about like uh the water crisis in Flint. Um I think it's a and he does a
Fitting
really good
fitting
job.
topic for a pissed off punk banger.
Yeah, yeah, I think he does a good job at kind of channeling the kind of frustration and energy at the systems of that have failed that fail people within our society. And Cameron does a really good job at dealing with that. And we'll get into that because I have some big feelings about some songs of his.
Oh
Um,
boy.
but I think that just it's fantastic blast of energy, but it just kind of it dies. But you know, it's fantastic. So I think basically every song from here on out is like a 9 out of 10. By the way, just to clarify,
Yeah.
so at least a 9 out of 10. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, this might be another one like years ago where it's just like, oh, I can't really relate to feeling like the song is hurt too much by the shortness syndrome. I certainly wouldn't complain if it were longer, you know.
yeah,
Um, but I for me, it feels complete as it is. yeah, like you said, it's just like this awesome burst of energy with like this one perfect, unfuckwithable, immaculate buildup. Like, and this is one thing that we'll get into with Cam's songs more as we go on, but his song, he tends to have songs that are more atmosphere focused than the norm for Black MIDI. I
Yeah,
have noticed, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not, yeah, that's not what this entire song is about. But during the middle part of this, just with that bass line and just with the skittery little ambient cymbal fills with the drumming and the reverb snare of doom and
yeah,
just all the reverb washed over everything. The that moment is like one of the big atmosphere moments of the album that really sounds like it's mainly focusing on that rather than just generating it as a side effect. And then, of course, that's like bookended between epically heavy, pissed off, noisy punk sections with this awesome riff that just totally goes. It's a massive banger. I love it. And there's like this one section. I'm not sure if you could call it a guitar solo, but it's like this weird metallic sounding
yeah,
dissonant riff
yeah.
that
I
gets
love that
really
riff.
fast
I
and
love
sped.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, where it like speeds up to impossibly fast, like fast forwarded tape type speed, which is a cool effect. I really like it. Um, yeah, and it does a good job of channeling the anger and the darkness of the situation, and it's a good political punk banger,
yeah,
with some nice atmosphere in the
yeah,
middle that's really fucking dark and really fucking effective.
yeah. Okay. Um, Time to continue the streak of pissing people off by choosing beloved songs. At least on Rate Your Music.
Oh
Um,
no.
Number 20, Aradia kind of knew this was coming. Is probably a little bit surprised that it's actually higher
I
than
thought this one was gonna die a few songs ago.
yeah. Welcome to Hell.
Yep.
Worst song from Hellfire. Welcome to Hell. I will
Oh,
stand by this take for my entire life.
oh
And
no.
listen, it isn't that I think this song fucking slaps. It rips, it bangs. Greep's lyricism on this track is fantastic. The criticism of war, and of PTSD and how we treat our people that go to war, um, societally, and kind of the kind of dismissal of grief and of trauma, um, which ties into everything. And as well as a little bit of the subtle kind of um the him talking about kind of God forgot, and the irony of that, and there's a lot of irony on Hellfire, which we'll get into, which I just adore. Um, and it
Uh,
works for the
Okay.
album conceptually fully. The irony of him talking about how God forgot these people, when he himself was going to hell by simply being a narrator on this album. Um, um,
Being one of the people who most actually deserves to go to hell on this album.
yes, um, and just the abuse that he hurls, and it's fucking, and it slaps ass. It rips. The production is incredible, just like on every other song on the album. Even if it does have the weakest production on the album, in my opinion, it still rocks. Um, I just I can't get into the one part. I can't do it. I've tried so many times. I've listened to this song so many times, and I cannot get into the wacky fucking whatever you want to call it, the whack ass shit that comes after the thrash metal part. Because I do like the thrash metal part. I do think that slaps. Um,
I'm glad you
and
like the thrash metal
even
part. That's the part that that's the part that you would have usually hated.
though I like thrash metal, I like Metallica.
Um,
Like conceptually, I like thrash metal. It's just most metal lyricists suck ass. But not the Greep. The Greep kicks ass. Um, but I just yeah, I and even besides that, I just think this track is a little bit weaker than basically everything else on Hellfire. But it still does rip. It rips ass. I'm glad it was the lead single so that I had a little bit of apprehension about the album at first and got to think about it and go I'm not sure about this one, fellas. I'm scared it's gonna suck. They also says an action movie and action movies suck. But spoiler alert, yeah, this I was not disappointed. So I do love this
yeah.
song. I think it slaps. It's just not. And I don't get why people say that this is the best song on the album. I guess it is kind of different from a lot of the other songs, but I also think the album is so eclectic that every song is different from the last one. So I
Oh
don't
yeah,
get it.
definitely.
I mean, I guess like any song could be your fave, but I don't know why particularly people went flocked to this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll I'm glad that the reason you like it is like the wacky prog part and not the thrash metal part, or the reason you have trouble with it.
I think the thrash metal part should have been longer. That's I legitimately think that the
You
thrash metal part should have overtaken the wacky prog part. Is and just stuck with that until the end.
you I don't quite agree that it should have stuck with it till the end. I'll talk about that a little bit, but I do that agree that it should have covered up the most wacky parts of the wacky prog bit. Um, like where it's really going all over the place. I kind of like it. It's cool in a way, but you, it's, yeah, maybe a little bit questionable in some ways too. But no, like lyrically, we'll get into this as we go. Hellfire, I think, definitely as a whole is their strongest album
Oh yeah.
lyrically, and the um this one is sort of an example of it. There's other aspects that this doesn't really capture that we'll get into, but it's a good political song. Obviously, about war and trauma and like a commentary on like toxic masculinity and how he's trying to instill like this shitty, emotionless GI Joe imperialist mentality upon his soldier, and how that contributes to him berating him and being a total asshole for his trauma, and like with the way that he's encouraging his soldiers to just go and exploit the women and the economic resources of the town before they go off to war to be strong for the nation leader and play that shitty power game. It you it's actually, I don't know, this album has like there's something that's like extra vivid and like very, I don't know. This is a very dense song. For one, there's a lot of things going on conceptually, like especially if you include the video or whatever on, there's a lot of shit that you can get into, but like it also just like the way the story is depicted is like incredibly vivid in a way that the lyrics on prior Black MIDI albums were not really quite achieving. Although I do like the lyrics from those albums, but there is definitely a level up here that's apparent immediately from this song. And I think musically, like, despite having some issues with that weird proggy section that's a little bit more wacky than it could have been, probably. I really like it overall, and of course I like the heavy section, duh, of course, but um, like the even like the main riff, like the main, just the dun 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 thing. Um, it sounds kind of goofy, but for some reason, like there's just like this darkness lurking underneath it. Like
Yeah,
it's it's kind of threatening, and it has like, I don't really know how to describe it, but there's this almost kind of nauseating feel to it that's, well, not like really bad or anything, just it's just really weird and unpleasant in a way, and that I think fits in with the theming of the song really well. And like the last verse where the shithead commander is just berating our protagonist, telling him, decide which room lives forever in your mind, over this fucked up horrible riff. And it's, I don't know, there's like some kind of, it's really fucked up, but there's some kind of bizarre power for me in that. I don't know. Just it just like some kind of weird mind space that it opens up that is absolutely horrible, but like, in a good way, you know, um, through the artwork. I don't know. I think I've pretty much said all I want to say about the song.
cool.
I do like it a lot. I won't. I maybe won't defend it quite as hard as you would have expected, but it's good. It's good.
Thought you stand this track, so yeah. All right, number 19 is Diamond Stuff, the next Cameron song on this list. And you might predict that I would think that this is one of the best Black Midi songs because I am a nerd that likes the lush shit. Um, and I think the song
Yes, yes, you are. You are.
really works. But my problem, I just I wish that it got to the lush, transcendent, kind of swirling, mysterious, ethereal part of the song faster, and it stayed there
Oh,
for longer. Um, because I think that I think that the the way that the song builds up is just it's kind of a bit slow. I like it. I think it's a good cool down moment on the album. I think it does a better job at cooling down than a lot of other things, but I think it could have pulled off the having that long of an intro if it were the 10-minute song instead of Ascending Forth. That's my ultimate take is that I think this song and Ascending Forth should have swapped lengths. But um, I
I
I think that the the fucking climax of the song where it's just all this swirling, it literally sounds kind of like Diamond Stuff, just kind of the swirling, ethereal, beautiful. ending, and now up to this point,
Yeah.
we haven't heard anything like that from Black Midi. Um,
No,
like
absolutely not.
we've had some beautiful moments on this album beforehand, which we get into later. Um, but most of them it's just been like really intense shit. Um, and so there's not been like a moment of like pure the type of beauty like this. Um,
Yeah.
and uh yeah, it's fantastic. It is fantastic regardless of me thinking that the intro is a little bit too long. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on. There are things happening. Yeah, I actually don't really think I disagree with the take that it should have swapped lengths with Ascending Forth. I would be interested in hearing that version of the album because I do think that this could have been extended like you're talking about. And I do like the build up part though. Maybe a little bit more than you. Maybe. You know, I just like all the different little fragments of strings plinking around each other. It's texturally cool.
That's fair. I
Um,
agree with that.
yeah. Um, and you know, of course, when it builds up into that lush, ethereal wash of just atmosphere that just it just washes over you, and it's just perfect, and it fits with the weird, bizarre imagery of the lyrics really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron has a thing for weird, bizarre, surrealist mining operations that exploit humans in some way. We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
this is no that this is still a really kind of unique song within the Black Midi catalog at this point because it's just really beautiful and ethereal and lush, and
And
there's no
it's
like
dark.
darkness.
The
Well,
contrast between kind of the lyricism, which kind of depicts this death and like kind of existentialism with the
mhm,
kind of the beauty of it is like it's weird and haunting.
uh, yeah, it is weird and haunting. That's true. It's really a powerful atmosphere. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, there's not too much to super analyze in this one.
Yeah.
I don't feel, but it's really good and unique and powerful, definitely.
Yeah. Number 18 uh, is title track from Hellfire.
Oh,
Simply because it suffers from shortness syndrome, because I think that this song is absolutely insane, and I wish they had made it a full fucking song, and I'm so angry that they didn't, and it should be at number 26, just from my anger, and frustration at the song not being turned into a fucking 4 to 5 minute song. Um, but
oh
whatever.
my God.
It's fine. um,
Oh my God.
the
I'm
fucking
so mad you put this over Welcome to Hell. Oh my God.
you're mad at me for that?
I am realizing I am now. Oh my
Why?
God.
Do you not like this one?
No, I do like it. It's just really short.
That's
Oh,
fair, but yeah, this is better than Detroit, Michigan. It's better than Welcome to Hell. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I know what's true in my heart. The fucking strings on this song, the fucking marching with the fucking it's just absolutely insane. It's the best elements of Wacko Black Midi doing the peak of their wackiness, um, and doing it so incredibly well. Um, the piano, just all the instruments, the fucking dense instrumentation, Reap going the fuck off about death and kind of setting up that the core of the album of death and kind of talking about, there's always something.
the
Um,
the existentialism of the constant decay of existence.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. I love this
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
It's underrated, and I get why it's underrated because they fucked it over and made it only a minute and a half because Black Midi hate me. Um, but it's okay. It's fine. Um, yeah, that's basically my only complaint with it, honestly. Is I just wish it were longer. I think
Uh,
it kind of it ends up feeling it's an intro, but I think they went too hard. They went too
yeah.
fucking hard for this to be an intro. It needs to be a whole fucking song. Um,
They
but
went too
whatever.
hard on the intro. No, I generally agree with that. It hurts my heart that you put it above "Welcome to Hell," which is a full song. Um,
Sorry, I gotta be real.
but yeah, for me that this is also unfortunately one of the ones it's gotten by the shortness syndrome. You know, I'll defend near Detroit, Michigan, and years ago, but this one is. I, I wish they had made it into a full song too, because like, yeah, they went so hard on this. They went so hard, and it's just like the- it's a minute and a half. It's like this epically horrifying, dense instrumentation. I haven't even picked it apart yet. I don't even fully know what's going on in there. Um,
They
but
got the,
I,
they got the orchestra for one song.
I got the
No,
orchestra for one
actually,
song.
not one song. But you know,
That the group going off about with the fucking existentialism and the decay and the suffering of existence, and then like at the end he like ushers you into hell, and after you reminding you of all the horrible things of life, like he's trying to draw you into hell, and uh, oh my god, it's a fucking experience while it exists.
so
Yeah.
it's so fucking good.
It,
Okay,
um,
is that all you wanted to say?
it's really short too. I think that's about all I wanted to say. Yeah.
All right, number 17 is perhaps a surprising one, for the two nerds here. Um,
Ooh.
John 50, number 17.
Oh.
This
Oh no.
song originally I thought was bad. I thought this song was not good. I thought it was mid. I
Oh.
was not prepared for Black Midi to go avant prog. When it first dropped, I was disappointed. I thought it was mid. Um, but
I
as time
remember
has
that actually.
gone on, this song has grown on me a lot, and I really really love it now. Um, just the fucking the little the guitar sound, the little chugging guitar sound. It's just so delicious. The fucking wacky saxophone line that doubles the guitar line or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
the little guitar riff thing that the group does. Um,
Yeah.
everything slaps. It's so good. And the atmospheric part where Morgan hits that drum and it just reverbs into infinity, before we get the little guitar bit. Um, just the complete insanity of this track is fantastic. I think it does go a little bit heavy-handed into the prog part a little
Yeah,
bit,
I
just a
I don't
tad.
disagree.
But it still slaps, and I like it more than Welcome to Hell, at least. I think it works better. The proggery here works better than in Welcome to Hell. Um,
Oh,
lyrically,
really?
it isn't as strong as Welcome to Hell, in my opinion. It's a cool story. I think it could fit in on Hellfire. Just
It could
from,
actually.
I mean, it has the same producer. Um, sonically and kind of thematically it fits with this kind of fucking cult leader, and it's still really great, but it's with weird freaking wacky lyrics. Um, but it's, you know, it's fantastic. It's great. Um, and I'm glad that it grew on me because I thought it was mid.
Yeah, I know I am glad that it grew on you too. Yeah, I remember I distinctly remember when it first came out and you're like, "Oh fuck, they're making prog now. Oh no, there's just prog wanking all over my black midi."
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
Soiled it. I remember that. And I okay, to be fair, like some of the sections here where it gets really, really technical, I could maybe be a little bit more tasteful. That maybe goes a little bit too hard into the prog, but
Yeah, if any Black MIDI song goes too hard into the prog, it's this one. Um,
yeah, and it, it
even
it's
if Hellfire does, but I think the rest of the song ends up being more pleasing to me, um, and more just the face of the song, I guess.
yeah. I do think that most of the things that happen fit in and go towards building like this like really dark this really dark panicked atmosphere that has like I I don't know, it puts some kind of weird anxiety into me, despite being kind of a little bit just a little bit wacky. It's still like really dark and anxious and panicky.
I think that's
Um,
kind of the core of it. I think Welcome to Hell goes a little bit too much into the wacko. Well, this song, and so it kind of loses a lot of the anxiety that I wish it had. It's still fantastic, but I think this song
yeah, that
captures the balance really well. A feeling like, and it also fits better with a cult leader than like the Hell Soldier. I think it works better. So, you know,
I, honestly, I read the song as about being like some nationalist shithead trying to recruit people and like building his movement and like all of the horrible consequences and eventual downfall. Um,
yeah,
yeah, you know, with the whole with the whole "your country is you" line and
yeah.
like that. I think the anteater imagery is like a fucked up kind of metaphor of like how they're teaching people to prey on those who are weaker than them and metaphorically smaller. I I think that's really fucked up. You know, I think Welcome to Hell also kind of subtly captures that behind its wackiness. That's what I was trying to say towards the end of that song. But it it is definitely like much more towards the surface here, and that fear is just like pushed right up in your face with just all this dissonant, but also like really catchy and banging and just like uh, slapping instrumentation. It just goes hard.
Yeah.
While being super anxious as fuck. It's really cool. I don't know. I like that atmospheric section of it that you were talking about before, where it scales back for a little bit, and you know, there's like that really heavily reverbed drum hit and like the more subtle guitars that aren't spiraling all over the place. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, and of course it's like it's I it almost feels a little bit primacy to me, but not I like that band, so that's not a bad comparison for me.
I've seen lots of
It
people
it
compare them to Primus, and I listened to like 3 Primus songs, and none of them sound anything like Black Midi. So whatever, you can feel the way
yeah.
that you do. It's okay.
You know, that's my equivalent of being like, this is just a King Crimson song,
Yeah,
I guess. No, it is like beyond Primus. Like this is something that Primus could never make.
genre post Primus.
Genre post Primus. But it manages to be wacko and also like really more noticeably in your face, horrifying than that other song we're comparing to, the Hell one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's good, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
Um.
that's about all I have to say.
Okay. Both of you are gonna get mad at me for this what's about to happen. Um. Number 16. Remember, I love all these songs with a lot of my soul and heart. Doctor. The bass line on
Oh
this
no.
track
Oh
rips.
no.
It's one of the best bass lines. It's one of the most fun bass lines to play. I love playing it. It's wonderful. Um, I just feel like I don't know. It's hard to say what this is one of the tracks I have like it's hard for me to put my feelings on. Um,
Okay. Oh no.
I'm getting owned. Um,
Oh no.
the bass line carries the
Don't think
song
about
really
it.
hard, I think. And I think it works really well as a closer. Um, Somebody brought
Yeah.
up how the song is kind of like the same thing repeated twice, which it kind of is. Like it is. But I think
Yeah.
there's enough variation between the two bits to make it stand out and it feels satisfying. I think the big explosion at the end where the Greep goes fucking ape shit and just starts
Yes.
go, going fucking screaming screaming, speaking in tongues. Um,
Yeah.
it's
That's really
awesome.
awesome.
Um, and I don't know. I think the song is pretty great. I don't have a
Yeah.
lot to
I
say about it, um, which is weird. It just kind of feels like the culmination of most of what's on Schlagenheim.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it for I'll start off by saying that I think it works really well as a closer to Schlagenheim. In its place, it does a really good job of playing the role it has. The bass line is absolutely legendary. Um, it carry well, I mean, the song is really based around it, so of course it carries the song. But yeah, I think that the whole journey throughout the two build-ups is really intense and satisfying with all the almost post-rocky dynamics it goes through. Um, and there's also some nice electronic um, flourishes from Matt that we get to hear on this one that I think are really pleasing, even if pretty subtle. Like especially that one vocal effect that gets put over the Greep's voice where it's like bubbling up. I think that's cool.
The Greep's
Um,
bubbling.
the Greep's bubbling. No, I I'm not even the lyrics are very interesting. I'm not quite sure what the scenario is in all of its glory. It's
There's a bunch of
something weird.
interpretations that people have.
Yeah, it's very like. No, I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. I feel bad, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good closer. for the album. There is something that it's maybe a little bit missing from it. I'll have to admit. That's tough to put my finger on, like something that's just a little bit nagging feeling of something missing. I can't quite articulate what it is, but yeah, yeah. I think I don't know.
Number 15.
Oh
The no
no,
not the number. I'm
the
sorry.
number. God.
Oh god. Number 15, is Reggae, a song that I think has been consistently underrated by the Black MIDI community and by myself. It's often forgotten about generally. It's one of the lowest rated, of their discography on Rate Your Music.
What?
Um, yeah,
Oh
and
my
to be
god.
fair, this was the song that kinda took the longest to kinda sit with me and kinda get. Like, at first, I thought that, it was just kind of a song, it was there. And I think it doesn't help that the song is titled Reggae, and then it's, like, not even completely related to reggae in any way. I have no idea why it's called that, unless there's, like, a really subtle section where there's some dub type or reggae type drums. Um, but no, I think that this song has grown on me a lot and kind of continues to. Um, and it's really dark. It's really mysterious. I think it kind of foreshadows
Oh yeah.
that side of Black MIDI, um, going into Cavalcade and Hellfire. Um, I love the weird atmospheric kinda guitars, the bit before the build up where these guitars kinda have this weird kind of. I don't know how to describe the melody, um, but before the chorus where Greep starts going off, um, has this weird, like, little riff before it that I really love, um,
I think I know
and
what you mean.
what is he singing about? Well, I have no fucking clue what the group is going on about on this song.
He feels inadequate, and there's some other person that he's looking at and idolizing and being like, "Oh my god, he's so much better than me, and I'm terrible." And there's like kind of a positive resolution in the sense that it seems like he's just motivating himself to keep pushing on in the later parts of the song. But I don't know. I think that's a pretty relatable feeling. Yes, Lillian says so too. Um,
Yeah, that's fair. Um,
yeah,
yeah, this song, it's kind of it is an odd song in their discography, and I understand why people kind of feel this way. It sort of feels like it should be longer than it is. And I think it's one of the
that's
first
fair.
songs. I think it is tagged with an avant prog secondary on Rate Your Music, which I mean,
Really?
it is
Huh.
funny how Cavalcade and kind of made people go back to Schlagenheim and be like, "Oh yeah, these are avant prog elements that we're hearing in this shit." Because I don't think they were ever tagged to that until um eh, Cavalcade came out, and people were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, it makes sense. Like that's kind of foreshadowed here." Um,
Interesting.
no, it isn't. Okay, I'm just crazy. I'm losing my mind. I thought
No,
it was.
I mean, like coming back from listening to these later albums, I can hear some foreshadowing of some elements in Schlagenheim,
Yeah,
like
and I
with
think
the
this song in particular feels like it goes through a fuck ton of different phases.
yeah,
And it each but it seems together so perfectly. Um, which is a really rare thing for me to feel like songs that are just completely ridiculous, like fusions of a bunch of different kind of miniature songs kind of fused together into one bigger song. It's hard for that to feel cohesive for me, but this song really pulls it off well. It feels more like a post rock song, kind of in with
yeah.
with a sort of prog tendency of it. Um, yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I it almost does have that post-rock tendency with the way that it builds through all of its sections and uses them to create tension. And
Yeah.
you know, in a way, I kind of think of this song as like the perfect modernized power ballad, almost like that the power ballad archetype of the slow building rock song, but like here
Interesting.
it's it's
It's
really
whacked out. It's whacked the fuck out.
oh yeah, it's absolutely whacked the fuck out. Yeah, I mean, like it's all compressed into a small time period, and it like it starts off from the quieter sections that really are so affecting, like you said. It really has like such emotional power building up from this. With that guitar riff, and also definitely with Morgan's drumming.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
just like
This
that
is this
skittery
is
little cymbal fill he has during the
yeah.
verse. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, he goes off on this song. This is a certified Morgan goes off moment.
Yeah, and then, of course, once it gets really big and when this song goes off, it really goes off.
Yeah.
Like, it ascends through multiple levels of power and heaviness, and it, like, there's all this angular, dissonant, noisy
Mhm.
stuff, and
Yeah.
that it ends on like this weirdly n- hopeful or resilient note, both musically and lyrically. But yeah, like you said, it just goes through all these different phases, and the development that it goes through is just so effective to me, and it works super well. I do think that it could have been longer if it wanted to, but I
Yeah,
also don't
I
feel
wouldn't
like it needs
complain.
to be.
Yeah, yeah, which is really interesting. It's a fucking banger. It's
It's
a
a
fucking banger.
banger. Yeah,
I think it deserves more attention, and I hope over time people will recognize it as one of the better songs from the album, in my
yeah, because
opinion.
it really is a banger. Because it even with the slow build and everything, like overall, it just has so much energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, is that all you wanted to say about it?
yeah, I think so.
All right. Now we're kind of I think from now on, I think all of these songs are like my children. I feel very,
Yeah,
very strongly about all of them. This kind of marks the
yes,
turning point, the halfway point. And so it basically hurts for me to drop every single one of these songs out, but it's like I have to do what I know is right. So number
yeah.
14 is Speedway, which
Mm.
listen, I think artists should stop trying to make post-punk because this song ended experimental post-punk once and for all. Um, Generally, I think post-punk is an extremely is it's not one of my favorite genres. It never has been through all the years, and it's completely inconsistent. Whether or not something gels with me or not. I like Joy Division, but most of it doesn't really work. Um, and, people are
I
really
think I
quick
like
to
it a little bit more than you do.
yeah, you like a lot of stuff more than I do, though. Um,
Yeah,
and
to be fair.
yeah, people are kinda quick to, assess the song as, like or Black Midi as a post-punk band. And I think that was not the correct assessment. Maybe something like, Boom Boom Boom. But that is way more no wavy. But this song I think is like the actual like okay, yeah, this is a legitimate like post-punk song. Um and it's so fucking good. It's so creative. Despite it being really repetitive and like building on this like one riff, similar to Boom Boom Boom. I think this one the subtleties stand out to me more. Morgan has just fucking insane drum fills throughout the entire thing. The weird
Like what?
electronics.
Yeah, like with the weird electronic stuff mixed in with the
Mm,
percussion.
yes, yes,
What the heck? Oh my god.
yeah.
It's
It's
so weird and different from anything else I can think of off the top of my head in the Black MIDI discography.
yeah, yeah. It is. It is a super unique song in the context of the discography, and I think this was the first Black Midi song that I listened to. And at first I
Hmm.
wasn't in love with it, but obviously time has changed. Yeah, Morgan's fills on this track are insane. The way that the 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 guitars and bass like have that angular sort of like they hit that note, and there's like the kind of two notes, the two chords that they hit. Um the verse or the more verse part where it has that like really nice clean strummed guitar that like is with that dissonant chord, and
Yes.
of course one of my favorite aspects of the song, and Black Media in general. We haven't really touched on lyrics a lot. I think that's Schlagenheim in general, especially from the Greek, has a lot of really cryptic lyricism that I find difficult to kind of get into. Um, and I really love
It is
I
probably like
love cryptic lyricism. Do not get me wrong. Um, but sometimes I think it kind of overdoes it. Rarely, sometimes. Um, but, this track, it's more of a straightforward song, but it talks about, like, the kind of the building of cities, and kinda like the always kind of building bigger, building better, building more, and it's kind of like this
expansion.
critique of it, um because of how dissonant and dark this song is, and you get the impression that this is like it's destroying things. And as somebody, you know, Aradia and I have different opinions about this. Aradia is more of a city person, and I am more of a
Yeah.
rural person. Um, as somebody that doesn't like cities, or like big cities, um, I think this song really strikes a chord with me on that level. The level of like this song is kind of destroying nature, and it also ties into Detroit, Michigan, which also has kind of that theme. But I think this song kind of goes into it more broadly. I think it has the more kind of cinematic, the stronger argument for it specifically. And I think Detroit, Michigan talks about kind of like the more human impact of it and kind of the government, and the systems failing people, where this is more about specifically building and construction, and kind of how that relates to destruction. Um, and how things are just kind of being built for speedways, just for no real reason. And I just love it. I love this song. I think it's amazing. I love the electronics in this track. Really unexpected and weird. The build up on this track towards the end, all of the drum fills, the percussion, just fucking insane. For a post punk track, you expect the percussion to be kind of simple, and it is, but Black Midi, of course, are crazy, and they always add more layers of instrumentation than anyone that really needs. But it's always a good thing. Um, so I fucking love it. I love this song, and I'm sad that I see people disrespecting this song on rateyourmusic.com compared to a lot of other songs on this
Music.com.
album.
Yeah. I okay, yeah, I start off I am more of a city person. I do live in one currently, but I mean, I do understand the destructive aspects of it. I mean, and this song certainly does touch on that, and it has a certain atmospheric darkness that also strikes a chord in me from also maybe kind of an opposite direction. As someone who's actually here and like surrounded by that kind of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Um, I do
Yeah.
I do see that same thing that you do. Don't think I don't or whatever.
No, it's just it's a different perspective on it.
Um, but yeah, I think you did a good job basically describing it. It is like definitely the most purely post-punk thing that Black Midi have ever done. Like it, and it's just wild with all that, with all these different layers getting added on. It is very minimal. Like, there's it kind of revolves around just that one groove, and how it alternates between that calm and composed guitar chord, and then it just like flourishes into this big burst of dissonance. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. That's really powerful. And then, but yeah, like the way that it builds up and adds all of these layers on top of it. I've heard you say that it's almost kind of autechry to make a comparison back to that cursed band,
Did
but
I say that once?
you did say that once, yeah.
Okay, I think I do. I get it. Not obviously not in
It's
like in the compositional sense of some of their stuff where like they have this repetitive sort of thing and it just kind of it's all about kind of more the subtle changes in it.
yeah, and
Something
like
yeah,
building up these textural elements.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's really unique, and it's a really, really great song. And yeah, I think you probably explained it better than I could generally, but no,
yeah.
I love it.
This is my baby.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to number 13. Bringing it back to Cavalcade, going with
Uh-oh.
Dethroned, which
Oh,
may be a
it
bit
has been deep
surprising
throat. Yeah.
for Aradia or Lillian, um, people who know me, because this song was one of my favorite Black MIDI songs, or it was my favorite Black MIDI song probably. Um,
Yeah, I think I
and
heard you say that.
what's happened is less of this song has grown off me, and more of the other songs have grown on me more. Um, and this song was kind of more immediate, and it's kind of stayed there, um, for its duration. But you know, I was watching Fantano's review because he dropped the Hellfire review a little bit ago, and I'm angry that he didn't give it a 10, even though I also wouldn't give it a 10. But we'll get there. But you know, um and he talked about this song as kind of being the most straightforward song on the album, and I kind of agree with that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. I don't think that's a criticism. I just think that's more of an observation. Because
The
most
straightforward songs can be good, and I do remember that this was kind of like the first one that really jumped out at me from this album.
yeah, yeah,
Aside from the singles, but whatever.
yeah. Well, the singles, well, yeah. If John 50 was
That
anything
that
to
that
go
was
by,
a
but
whole other thing.
we'll talk about the singles and what kind of happened with those in some time when we get there. But this song, immediately jumped out to me. The bass line on this fucking song, as a bassist and a camera
Yes,
stand, just juicy as fuck, undeniable.
it
I wish
slays.
that the hazy, just ambient drone thing at the end, at the start of this song with a little sax riff, from the transition from this and Diamond stuff into this would have stayed for the whole song. Um, or been developed more, because it's fucking delicious. Just that, having that with Morgan strumming is just such a fantastic little subtle moment in their discography, that blows me away. um and
That's fair.
lyrically, it's not the most impressive song. It's fine. It's Black Midi. It's the group singing about like a dude getting dethroned, probably. I
Deep
mean,
throat.
knowing how much they talk about, America and knowing when was this album recorded actually? Because I've seen some people say it's
God.
about Trump. I don't know
Oh
how
my
true
god.
that might be. I wouldn't put it past me. Okay, no, they recorded it before the election, so it's not about Donald Trump. Um, but just generally,
Oh my
the
god.
timing kind of made it, retrospectively work in that way. Um,
I mean, it's a relevant archetype.
yeah, it's a relevant archetype, especially in this day and age. And I think they're mostly going for that archetype, and it also works with the UK, with Boris getting dethroned
Yes.
by resignation. So yeah, I mean the lyrics are great. I just think that the storytelling is not as interesting. But you know what? Who fucking cares? Who cares about the storytelling when this song has that fucking guitar delay texture thing? I
Yeah.
have no fucking clue how they made it. The stuttering guitar just it does something to me. It awakens some spiritual primal feeling inside of me. Um it just blows my fucking mind every time I hear it. It's so great. It's so incredible the way that this song builds and builds and builds. It gets larger and bigger, and I've seen people complain about this song um, and the KEXP version, and they're not even that fucking different. I'm sorry. Maybe the
That
KEXP one
that's
is
a
is
that's a common thing with Black MIDI, that where people are always complaining about how some live version was better than the studio version.
Yeah, which, is unfortunate because whatever. But it is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
I think part of that is because, if you go to see Black MIDI live, it's gonna be better, like, if you actually see them live. Songs are just gonna be better. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's fair.
we'll get
I see
into
that.
we'll get with Hellfire, especially the live versions of songs like Sugar, which we'll get into, they tend to lack a lot of what can be done in the studio, with extra layers and production choices and stuff. So, but I think they're fine. With the fucking stuttery guitar tone and the way it
Yes.
evolves into that like wailing sound, and the way this entire song becomes, it's like a noise rock song. I want to say shoegaze just because anytime I hear noisy guitar, I think it's shoegaze, even though it's more noise rock, but it doesn't have the ethos of noise rock to me. It more has the
Yeah,
the ethos of shoegaze, if that makes any fucking sense.
I think I
Um,
kind of agree.
yeah.
That does make sense to
Um,
me.
I mean, it's noisy, but the I don't
It's
know.
like atmosphere focused. It's not
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah. Uh, yeah, the I mean, first off, I have to shout out that I do think that lyrically, the kind of like surrealistic nightmare depiction of our dethroned character's past haunting him psychologically, um, and all that weird kind of bizarre imagery that the Greep throws in around that point.
Yeah,
I think that's one of Black Midi's stronger lyrical points up
interesting.
to well, not like overall, but like strongest up to this point. Um, there are some others that we might get to, but I don't know.
We might get
I
to,
think
even
this
though
is a
we're
good
ranking
one.
every Black Midi song.
Yeah, I don't know if some of them are just gonna slip out of existence because they were SCPs and needed to be contained or whatever.
My takes
Um,
might cause a black hole that destroys reality.
God, the
All of my
sheer
hottest
anger
takes
of the
are
Black Midi fandom compressed.
yeah, basically.
Um,
I've
but yeah,
seen
no,
I've seen a surprising amount of disrespect for this song in particular. Like I don't get it. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, Dethrone is like easily the worst track on Cavalcade," and I'm like,
Really?
you're insane." Yes, I've seen lots of people, not just Fantwan, but like rate your music people, you know, because that's what my life is rate your music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my life is too, it's okay. Hogwash and Balderdash is right there. Um,
Yeah, but I don't know. People like cardiacs, which is I mean is based. I will say cardiacs are based. Um,
Lillian is typing.
yeah, don't just. I'm not even gonna look at the Discord. Um, but yeah, I think it's. I don't understand why this song gets disrespect. I guess it is because it's the more straightforward song, but at the same time, like "Boom Boom Boom" is one of their most beloved songs, and it's straightforward. And it's a different type of straightforward, obviously,
Yeah,
but I think that
yeah,
this song, it fucking rips. It just fucking rips. The atmosphere, the noisy
yes.
wailing guitar is so fucking delicious and yummy. The bass line is incredible. Um, it's awesome.
Yeah, again, I think you basically put it as good as it can be put. Like the bass line absolutely fucking slaps unbelievably hard. Um, just absolutely unfathomable. Uh, the the guitar, the stuttery delay effect or whatever it is that just starts wailing. Yeah, that it is some kind of primal force. It
Yeah.
is absolutely wonderful. I love it. Quality song. I, yeah.
I think
It.
I think Black Midi were bold to not release this as a single because it has a single energy to it. I think more so
I agree.
than all of the songs they released as singles. But you know,
Mm, I'm not sure I would totally agree with that, but it does have single energy.
yeah, whatever.
I just think the others do too.
That's fair, I guess. Okay. Is that everything you wanted to say?
I think we covered everything.
Okay. Number 12. Now, this hurts me.
Oh
I
no.
mean, these all hurt me, but because when I originally started conceptualizing doing a podcast for this song was like number 2 or number 1, which I think um goes to show how my
Oh my
opinion on
god.
Black Midi has changed and grown over time. Um, but this is one of the songs that I have, you know, a lot to say. Um,
Uh-oh.
Number 12 is "Eat Men Eat," um,
Ooh, I
which
didn't expect this.
which means that the worst 2 tracks on Hellfire are 2 of the singles, which makes me happy because I love it when the worst tracks are singles, and then you get to the album and it just blows you away. Even if I was stunned by the song when it first came out, I was even more stunned by the rest of the songs. Um,
This one might have been a little bit more of a slow burner for me, but we'll get into it.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's an interesting choice to release as a single. I'm not sure what else they could have released as a single because the album is how it is. I guess they could have released The Defense as a single, but you know, whatever. I This song is just fucking incredible. Just the
Yes.
the dark kind of the like clanging at the start of this song, which kind of sets up that imagery in my mind of this fucked up haunted desert mine. The entire atmosphere of it like feeling deserty to me. Um, but not in like
Yep, yep.
in like a cheesy, annoying way, like I frequently feel like, because I mean, I'm not a desert person. I like the cold. Deserts are kind of like the complete opposite of my aesthetic. But sometimes they fucking rock, and in this case, it does rock. Um, the flamenco influences of the verses, the bass guitar, the drums, just filling out everything. The production, so fucking incredible. I love it so much. Um,
It's really good. Like you can feel the dust covering everything.
yeah, yes, yeah. It feels so dusty. It's
Uh-huh.
just it's so good. And the
Number 130.
those what happened? Oh, because the other 12 songs are even better. Um,
No,
wait.
the other
Oh, this is number 12.
129
This is number
songs.
12. Whatever. I'm confused. Whatever. It's okay. Um, those fucking dissonant piano chords that play when Cameron sings the chorus, the title of the track. Um,
Yeah.
the the way that it goes into that fucking weird avant folk, like with those strings, just so fucking good. Um, the way that the song ends and everything, and just d- this this little capture of just insanity. Fantano was insane for saying this is the worst track, even if I am
Oh
close to
my
agreeing
god.
technically. Um, but I guess it just goes to show how good Hellfire is. Um, but I
That
mean,
is
my one criticism of this track is that I think that and we're gonna get into nitpick territory, okay? This is when, if I say I have a problem with the track, it's very minimal. It's something that it's like, okay, in an ideal world, to make this song basically a perfect song or a song worthy of being on a perfect album, um, it should do this. But is that I wish that the avant folk bit went better into the the second verse, where it goes back into the more avant proggy bit. I think the transition between the two sections are a little bit weird, but it's not that big of a deal. And of course, this song, the famed Black MIDI F slur drop, is so good. With and somebody brought up how this song and Still kind of make a how on each album Cameron kind of has these two songs that kind of reinforce each other lyrically and thematically. And in this case, Hellfires is about gayness, or queerness in general. Um,
yeah.
and I'm not gay, but I'm queer. So for me, I fucking adore the way that the song sets up it being about these two protagonists, this gay couple, um, who are like hunted down, who are like targeted, and fed poison, um, and how it switches the kind of the typical narrative of gay people going to hell, um to instead the captain, the implication that it's the captain is the one who ends up going to hell and being the kind of demon in the burning. um
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, I
love
agree.
how it twists that. And Black Meteor is so good, especially on this album, of taking these things and twisting them into totally new meanings that I think make it so much more powerful than it would be otherwise. Um, I fucking love this song. I love the twist of this song. Um, I love Cameron. I think he's, especially on this song, so fucking good. Um, just his vocals on this track fit super super well. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
I just and especially the screams at the end. I love it.
Oh my god, yes,
I'm
so
sorry, I
good.
ranted. I ranted, but I had to, and it's gonna be like that for the rest of the song. So buckle up.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ready. No, this one at first it took a minute to grow on me. I think for I'm just gonna be real here. I like the bangers, and it can sometimes be a little bit more challenging for me to get into stuff that doesn't do that when I expect it. I think in the context of the album, the way that the energy flows through it all is really good, and there's actually like a lot of energy in the song once you get into it. But um, this was kind of a slow burner, and also because like another thing about the lyrical story in this song is it like a lot of the songs on Hellfire, it is just really very like vivid and specific,
Yeah,
and especially on this one, it's just such a bizarre situation, and just like such this weird, unexpected kind of darkness and suffering that's manifested in the story here that it took me a while to wrap my head around how
yeah,
exactly I felt about it.
yeah. That's fair.
Um, yeah, but no, I really appreciate it now, and just the way that it's supported by the atmosphere of the music, with that dusty sound that it has, and those really rich, mysterious feeling kind of flamenco influenced chord progressions, and that avant folk thing that you were talking about.
The callback to Diamond stuff at the start of the album folk bit is ingenious. Just it. I first fucking listened to this song, and I was like just in shock because of how fucking good it was.
I actually might not have noticed that, to be real with
I
you.
thought I told you about it. I was like, oh, there's a Diamond stuff. No, the start of it
I mixed it
uses
up with, yeah,
as the
whatever.
strings for it. It's okay.
But oh my god. No, after it's grown on me, like it's just so immersive, and it just like n- traps me in like this screwed up, horribly dark, and such an unfathomably strange way. Desert mining atmosphere
Yeah,
that is, I don't know, I fucking love it. Um, I love the queer rep. I love, oh my god, the legendary F slur drop in just that whole section where it's just going off and Cam is just screaming,
yeah,
and all the like all the like there are a lot of parts in this song, and also on especially on Hellfire, where Black Midi is doing these really heavy sounding things without the typical distorted rock instrumentation.
yeah, yeah. I get what
Um,
you're talking about.
yeah, but it's just like the horns and piano and acoustic guitar and whatever, but
Yeah,
just wailing.
they're using all these like lush instruments that are like typically beautiful, but they're twisting them into this like really dark, sinister sound, and it's just fucking incredible.
Yeah, they're just using them to wail on these horrible dissonant chords that are, it's just so heavy in such
Yeah,
an unconventional way. I really love it.
yeah,
And yeah, this one has really grown on me. It's really become like, m- I don't even know how I would rank it with Hellfire. That's why I'm not the one doing the ranking. But it's definitely a high tier Black Midi song
yeah. All right.
for me.
Um, all right, number 11. Barely making the top 10, not making the top 10, and it hurts because I wish I can make all of these top 15 songs basically in my top 10. Um, is
Impressive.
953,
Ooh.
which I, I went back and forth about putting it. I mean, all these songs are very, very close in quality, just so you know. Um, this like string of 10 songs. Um,
But Lillian is out to destroy us.
um, no, not you. You haven't done anything wrong. You're
But
not the one who's ranking anything. Um,
okay, yeah, go after B.
but I think of this song, it's such a fantastic introduction to Schlagenheim and to Black Midi's career in general. It does such a
Yes,
fantastic job at setting up everything that makes them work as a band. Even if it isn't the best in really any direction, I think that it has the quick, fast as fuck riff, the explosiveness riff, the dissonance in between everything, the kind of more atmospheric laid back moments where the group is singing his cryptic as fuck lyrics, about living in a fantasy or whatever the fuck. Um, and the fucking the just going ham over and over again, the weirdest fuck time signature shit that's going on, flipping back and forth between the different modes of riffs and just overall
yes,
creating a fucking insane cacophonous banger of a fucking song, um that I love. I don't have much to say about it, just that it fucking rips. um
yeah.
I
The fucking riffs. Is that about it?
For me, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
I'll
no,
jump onto whatever you have to say, but I know that I spent like 10 years analyzing Eat Many in this one. That's just how it goes. Sometimes I have more to analyze about songs, and other times I don't, even if I like one more than another.
sometimes it's just a banger, and there's only so far you can analyze banger energy.
Yeah,
um, but like, no, like I agree that it is a it's so good as like an introduction to Black Midi's career that covers all of the stuff that makes them so good as a band. With that, again, it's not necessarily like a standout best song they've ever done in any particular direction, but it's just such a solid introduction. With the oh my god, with the hardest fuck angular riffs
yeah,
that have this, the, ju- they're just angular and strange, and they just have these bizarre shapes to them that immediately catch your ear and let you know, hey, we're Black Midi. Um,
we're here to
we're,
destroy everything. We're we're here to invent music too.
we're yeah, Morgan's drumming going the fuck off with all these weird, just super dense, off kilter
Yeah,
fills just scattering
yeah.
around all over the place. Um, just playing off of the riffs at these odd angles. It it, it fucking slays. Um,
It
they
fucking rips. I think it captures the essence of Schlagenheim, really, really well as a track as well. Just
yeah, I agree.
the chaotic, insane energy on that track, and um, yeah, it's it's fucking good. It just fucking rips.
Yeah. I will say that it is a Schlagenheim lyrics sometimes a bit cryptic. To be fair, it's like critiquing the concept of thought crime or something like that. I don't I don't know. But no, this one is just all about the banger energy and the, well, that it has like the more atmospherically driven verses. I think they would have better. They would do it better later on, but it's still
Yeah,
good here.
yeah.
It's very pleasing. I love it.
I love the way that
Uh,
the title of the
I see
track.
what you,
I love the way that the
I would
title of the track ties into the riffs at the end.
yeah, and also 953 becoming like a whole arc number of Black MIDI.
Yeah, which ties back into,
Ascending forth.
which ties back into Ascending Forth,
Avant Prog. Um,
the Avant Prog.
oh my god. But no, I I also I also just wanted to mention with the song that one section where it slams back into that one really angular, jagged riff, but it's playing it at like hyper speed 400% to start off, and then it just slowly
Yes, the ending,
decrescendos and
the
slows
outro.
down. The ending, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it is. Oh my god, it slays
yeah,
so fucking hard.
I love the slowdown. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh my god, it is so fucking epic. It epic banger, very chill album band moment.
Yeah.
That's my 953 commentary.
All right. Awesome. And it isn't the best song on Schlagenheim, because the best song on
No.
Schlagenheim. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Number 10. I know this is gonna make both of you upset that it's this low, but it made the top 10. Okay, calm down before anything happens. It made the top 10. You'll survive. You'll be all right. Um,
No.
number 10 of Schlagenheim, the title track. Um,
Oh.
this is this a contender for your favorite Black Midi song, Aradia?
Um, I it's high tier.
Okay, it's high tier.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, uh,
Um,
this song is just wacko. It's all of the wacko, weird ass, fucking dark, chaotic, just experimental rock shit that's been going on for the album distilled into one song. That fucking the fucking groove that starts off the track with those kind of off kilter drums that sounds like a classic 80s song or something, that I've heard a thousand times before, but it has this weird fucking like dissonance e like textured guitar cutting through it with this weird sounds going on, and then the group starts going off about centaurs.
yeah.
We know he's saying center, but it's funny to imagine that he's saying that
No, it
everybody is at a centaur. Um,
oh my god.
and it ties nicely into into the race. This is technically the sequel
Jesus fucking Christ.
to the race after everybody becomes centaurs.
Oh
No,
my fucking god. Oh my god.
um, this song is just fucking insane. Just every single moment of the song is just Greep's wacko energy all over it. All the bass lines, the way that it weaves the atmospheric bits in with the wacky um uh bits, that fucking that one like electronic like try to think of a way to describe it. Towards the start of the song, when it goes into it, it just has that little, it's like a strobing flipping out thing. Um
Yeah, it's like stuttering.
stuttering, yeah, yeah. Um it's so
Yeah.
good, and in that fucking the guitar that just cuts through it. Um the way the song builds, and it goes into that subtle, more atmospheric bit, and then fucking the Greep just starts screaming at the top of his fucking lungs like he does on Doctor, and just going off, having having a having a little bit of an emotional problem. It's okay, Greep. We understand. Um,
I feel that way sometimes too.
Of course, we are partial to the Teeth of the Raven line, because we're Corvid fans, um,
Yeah,
and it's such a
yeah.
good fucking lyric anyway. Um, just just this song is just fucking insane. I'm sorry. Um,
I still haven't
all of
come back
the
to Earth after that centaur thing.
I'm sorry. Well, that's why I'm ranting to give you some time to come back. The bass lines on the song, the the way it speeds up again, and then that it cuts out and it has this little like moment of silence before the drum hit comes, and that's when the Greep loses his fucking mind. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and the rest of the song kind of rides on this one groove with this distorted guitar, and this siren blaring coming up to that kind of introduces into Bum Bum Bum. um Kind of
oh my
wish it's a
fucking
bit
god.
longer because this jam is fucking insane, and I know in live shows they go on for absurd amounts of time. Okay, yeah. I wish that the ending of the song with the jam went on a little bit longer. I think it could have, um just because it's one of those things where it's like this is such a fucking good jam, such a good groove and a riff that I just want to hear it and just go crazy wacko mode, but it's okay. The song as it stands is fucking insane. That's wonderful. Um, and I love it.
Yeah, oh my god, this song, yeah, it 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 where what do I want to start with on this fucker? It goes through so many different modes throughout its time, but it has like this really consistently dark and unhinged feel to it that's really tasty to me. Um, I love it so much, but you're just like taken through this shattered mirror, broken, odd angles, reflections, fun house of a song. Um, with through all these sections that are just like you have all these menacingly atmospheric sections with the Greep going on with these freaky ass vocal inflections that are so powerful, especially when he really starts going off.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that shit. I really like it. You have those groovy lurking sections toward the beginning of the song, then you have like the more electronically infused banger sections with like that fluttering strobing bass line, and that clap that's added in that goes super hard. You have like these almost post rocky dark fragmented sections that are just well I think it only like really appears once, but it's unhinged as fuck. um and all these little weird electronic details, and like before the Greep starts going off, there's this weird fizzly noise that the song kind of buzzes out on. That's a cool textural detail that engages my Autechre brain. Dear God.
Odd Ticker Brain.
Yeah, and it just of the Teeth of a Raven section with that the most fucked up guitar riff on the album maybe, but it's such a banger, and the drums and the everything, and I it makes me lose my mind. It's so fucking awesome. It's so good.
Yeah,
It just
no,
kind of yeah, it just kind of juggles all these different sections and rides out on that thick groove that just get it. Oh, it goes so hard. It bangs. It slaps.
it rips,
It
it
rips.
hauls.
It all. Uh, and it's got these fucking motorcycle sounds or something woven through it. I the or there's a case of cryptic Schwagenheim lyricism going on here, and if I wrote the song, I maybe would make it a little bit less edgy than it comes across as here.
Really, the metal nerd.
N- yes, well, no, I wouldn't be complaining about hooking up with the woman with the teeth of the raven and going about how it's awful and terrible.
That's fair.
I would be like,
Okay, so
oh
you
yes, weird creature.
you would you would have a different perspective than the Greep would. Yeah, the Greep
That-
hates furries. But thankfully, we have a little bit of Cameron uh showing us, he might be a little bit of a furry
Oh,
himself, which we'll
oh my god.
we'll get into. I'm
Yeah.
just fucking around. Um,
Oh my god.
unless
Uh, windmill furry pipeline. Oh my god. We have truly left Earth by this point.
it's
Um,
okay.
I actually feel kind of complete with that song.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome.
I feel like I've expressed myself with that pretty well.
Okay, so I guess we'll just talk briefly about Schlagenheim as a full album,
Oh god.
because that's all the songs. Briefly. Um,
Yes.
I I think the album itself is incredible. Debut album from Black Midi. I think back in 2019, I wasn't ready for it really. I loved it obviously, um, but
I
it's only
wasn't
grown on me
either.
with time. It's only grown on me with time. It's shown itself to be an extremely impressive, expressive, a creative, experimental rock album with its chaotic energy. That like while the other two Black Midi albums do have that chaotic energy, it's not the same as it is here, and it's not as strong. Um, and
They
obviously,
really
there's a
fell
lot
off
of
the
people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that like Black Midi before they went avant prog, like a certain somebody,
wagon.
that we're friends with, but, it's understandable, I get it, I'm not gonna get upset with people, um, I get it, but I also think that, Black Midi has only improved from Schlagenheim generally. Obviously, there's tracks from that are better and worse on different albums, which I think just goes to show that they're a consistent band. Um,
They are, yeah.
but they generally they continue to improve. Their best songs are coming out in more frequency. Um, I love the energy on this album. It's wacko. It's wonderful. Um, I think it could be a little bit more cohesive generally. And
Huh.
obviously I've talked about every single track, so but it rocks.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just start off by saying, well, no, actually, I'll start off by saying for some stupid reason, back in 2019, I felt like it was too dark or nihilistic or something. I don't know why. Coming back to it now, I didn't fully allow myself to process it back then because I wasn't fucking ready apparently. But
I understand that
um,
because I know we're kind of going back, but I just wanted to bring this up because you talked about it. I felt that way about Diamond stuff, in particular, which is a reason why I struggle to get into it. Is because I think it gets into Cameron's. It gets into the nihilism thing, but I also think that song, it kind of flips the switch on it a little bit. I've grown on it. I've grown with it because I'm not a big nihilism fan. I think it's kind of
yeah,
boring. But I don't think this album really has much of that. I think it has a lot of um using cool, what we perceive to be really cool imagery, monster type imagery, and using that as a negative, which is a big L for Black Midi. Sorry. Um, but yeah,
No, no, I don't know. I've grown to accept it how it is. I don't really feel that way about it anymore.
Okay.
Now, like after I revisited it, I wasn't like, okay, this is like too dark to emotionally open myself up to or whatever. Um, which was weird for me to think because I've listened to a lot more fucked up stuff than this before. It came at a particular time. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But after revisiting it, I know that not everyone really feels this way about it. I know that there are certain songs and sections that people have issue with. But for me, this is just like such a perfectly consistently flowing rock album to my ears. Like the sheer energy that is kept up through the album and the way that each song leads you into the next one. At least to me, it just has such an amazing and perfect flow to it. I this was for a long time. This was my favorite Black Midi album. I preferred this over Cavalcade because of that reason. Because I just perceive it to flow so well. I love all the songs on here. Um, and even the problematic sections that people take issue with, I see a way for them to fit in, and they make sense to me. And it just keeps me so eagerly awaiting the next song and the next section, and just getting to hear the next thing that happens on the album. It just keeps me so locked in. It I fucking love it. I've gone around saying it's a perfect album. It in some ways I like in a construction wise kind of way. I think
Yeah.
it could have a little bit more depth. We'll talk about that a bit later. Maybe with in context with some
Yes.
other
Yes.
some other Black MIDI material. But yeah, it just works so well for me. It just flows so well as an album, each song into the next, and keeps this absurd level of energy up. Well, it's not like it's always going 100%, but it's just always constantly. It just it has this energy to it that's just so good.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and that I really love it, and that's kind of that. Yeah, that's basically why. I'm not so certain that it's my favorite anymore, but when we'll talk about
Ooh.
that, we'll
Ooh.
talk about that. We'll
Ooh.
talk about that.
Okay. I hope we have the same opinion because if we don't have the same opinion, it's gonna suck. All right. Number nine. Moving on to number nine. Um, is